Welcome to Video Day Project Week. We got this rocking chair in. Instead of doing a whole entire repair video on the rocking chair, I'm just going to do certain segments and certain repairs, certain items on here. As you can see, I just have it completely blown apart. It's just sitting up on this this plastic chair back here. I've already done this side, repaired a bunch of stuff over here. It's held together by these rods, and this is the part that we're going to do now. And I'm going to show you what we're going to work on this particular part. So with the back of this, this thing is pretty blown out, and I'm going to work on this right now. I've already started it. Besides, I thought I'd do a video on this spot that's split up right here, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. And then we'll do this side that's completely broken off and tore up. I'll show you how to fix that. So we're going to work on this part right here. So I've already started coming in here with my splint and my sandpaper and getting the glue. Not glue, I mean there is a little dried up stuff in here, but this is so split up. I think the glue's all dried out. And I'm just cleaning this surface up. Now obviously I've already stripped this. I'm just going to clean this surface up really well and get all this glue out, all this paint. When the chair was painted, I'm going to get all this stuff out on underneath this side and on this side. And I don't want to change the profile. I don't want to turn it and round my corners. I'm going to be mindful of that. And just get in here the best that I can and clean this up. That's looking way better than it was. Good old car scraper for way down deep stuff. Oh, there we go. I don't want to cram the debris farther into the workpiece. I think I got that glue out. I've come across with the card scraper and got in these areas here. I got in here, this area here with the card scraper, and it looks pretty clean up in here. I'm going to blow this out with air, and then we'll squish it together, and then we can work on the other side. This is how we're going to do this. We're going to inject or squirt glue in there. I'm using Tight Bond 2. I don't think there's a reason to use epoxy or anything for this. Okay, right in there. You can see it's out. There we go. That should be way up in there. Huh? Right, this one? I can see it going to cut that. I hate the part to be back here, but I think that's what I'm going to do. Because perfect all this is better. Alright. So, we'll clean this up and we'll go to the next one. Alright, so I've got this thing in the dogs. I made these long dogs for parts like this, and I just got it clamped in on my vise, and I got to be very careful. I can't squish it too hard. We don't want to make these corners rounded in any way. So now I'm going to try to see if I can negotiate this part. This side is drying, the one we just fixed. And now we've got to deal with this, and this whole piece is broken off. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this all the way back and then replace this whole thing with a brand new piece of, whoops, there we go. Replace this with a brand new piece of wood, and then clean this split up the same way, and then we'll squish it together. This will be a separate repair. This one down here, I'll cut this square and put a piece of wood in that, and then put a whole piece of wood over the whole thing, and that'll solve this screw hole problem too. That situation will be fixed. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, I just took the bar off my square, and I just clamped it on it. It still moves a little bit, so I got to be really careful. And I'm going to cut through this material. That's a nice clean straight line. Now my repair piece can come up in here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this and put a piece here first, and then put another piece on top of that. So let's cut this out. Okay, I've got me a small piece of oak, and I've cut my angle. If you're wondering how I got the angle, all I did was hold it up when it was straight, and just marked it here, and connected the lines and cut it. That's all I did. So it's nothing tricky. So I'm going to fit this in here, but I need to make the edges flat. So I'm just using my Stanley low angle plane and just planing it flat, and I've got it held in place with one of these little bitty dogs that I made. And this should be, see, this side is not flat, I can tell by looking at it. So let me do this again. It's against the grain too. I should turn my part around. Okay, so we're going to insert this part as deep as that. So I'm just going to hold this up here, and hopefully it will not move. Let me put some reference lines to see. So I'm going to draw lines on here to see kind of sort of where I'm at. Okay, so I need to go this way. So I just drew lines on there. I know it's hard to see with the position of the camera. So I just really need to score me a line where this is going. I don't want to move it. Oh, see, like that. I got to line it back up. You don't want to move it because, and this isn't so important, and it's not so important that this is like exactly perfect because nobody's going to see it. It's a patch, but still you want your patch to be nice and tight, nice and clean. So now I've got my lines established right here. And now I'm just going to come in with my existing razor lines. I'm just going to make those a little bit deeper and be very careful on how I cut it, not to go too deep. I just want to make sure I cut this part off. Okay, I'll use previously cut area, cut this out, probably better way to do this. Don't know, ensure that the comments let me know, and I'm doing this hard way. There we go, now I'm starting to get the fibers. I don't want to cut too cutting my wall. There we go. I just have to stop the grain that fall up there into the part that's not broken. So we've got, that's it now. Now that's just easy, like the work out. Okay. I'll do this a little bit. Okay, just cut through. There's the hole right there. There we go. Okay, that wall's not straight. My wall's not straight. I'm also my piece. Okay, this wall here, this side, that's not there. Establish this profile. Still on, I don't like that. Just a bit. It just looks like I had my right sideways. This wall's pretty. I'm sure my part didn't. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, this works. Awesome. All right, so it's a little proud of the surface, but that's okay. I'm just going to take a little bit of this off. I'm just going to use glass sticky tape or sticky sprayed down to sandpaper sprayed, you know, sticky taped on, and I'm just going to take a tiny bit down, and I'm just going to keep measuring this until I can get it to fit in there exactly, and then that'll be the part in there. Okay, after sanding for a few minutes on the glass and sandpaper situation, we can get this in there. Okay, so I can just take this top part off with a chisel, that's fine. So now I got to clean out this part underneath here where it's messed up, right? And it's probably going to change this a little bit, but that's fine. I'm going to clean that up, and then we can glue everything together. So before we even do that, let's make this part that fits in on this, and then kind of sort of shape it to it, and then we'll glue the whole shoot match together, and this will be this fix. This will be that repair. Let's make this part. Okay, I got my little blank cut, and I want the grain going the same way. If you notice, if I put it this way, the grain is this way, and it shifts. So I'm just going to line the grain up, and then the way that I want it, like that. And I'm just going to put a mark. I'm going to establish that angle, and I have to get in front of the camera. I'll put a little mark here, and then I'll put a little mark, I can't see it, here it is, a little mark here, okay? Let me carry that line, probably just do it from the other side, and all I'm going to do is connect those two lines. So you can see, I'm just going to connect those two lines that I drew somehow, if I can do it with this crazy thing. Okay, so I'm going to cut that, and then it should, how does it fit? Oops, that's going to fit backwards, isn't it? No, it's not. It should, because I want this to be the show side. So if that's the angle, that's right. So it'll fit that way. So let's cut this off real quick. So it fits exactly in there like it should. I had to come back and re-bevel this because it wasn't flat and square to my part. So there's a slight camber to that edge that fits on there. So I'm going to go ahead and trace this out and fit it in. I need to do this. Okay, it took a minute to negotiate that little obstacle there to get that squared away, but I finally got it clamped up, and we'll deal with this tomorrow. I'll clean up some of this glue in there. This side's repair is done. I'll clean that up tomorrow. I'm just going to let this set. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to let it sit just like that, and there you go. That'll be the fix, and it'll look nice, but I'm just going to clean up the glue so it won't be so difficult, challenging for me tomorrow to get all that hard glue off there and kind of get it off now, and we'll clean it up tomorrow. Okay, it's been overnight. It's the next day, and let's see what these look like. See, that does not look too bad at all. And we're going to clean this up. This side, this needs to be cleaned up also. So let's go ahead and let's clean this up. I made a mess in here, didn't I? Oh man, there's a hole in the front of this. Oh man, we'll have to fix that. I didn't even see that when I was doing it. I would have done it the first time. I got this thing set really light. I don't want to overdo it. I'm nervous about going into the workpiece too much. Okay, these are the final repairs. This is the one where it was splitting and coming apart. You can see that it looks good, just needs to be cleaned up a little bit more. And this is the major repair that we did in that piece that we put in. I started to draw the grain in right here, and when I colored it, it'll match, but I said I don't need to do that. It's the back, and nobody's going to see this, and there's a support that goes through here. So what I do is I get everything almost exactly ready to be reassembled, and then I do one last final check for everything to make sure everything's perfect. But it looks really, really good. Okay, this is almost completely done. I did this side, which had some major repairs in it. This was wallowed out, and I had to put a dowel in there and re-drill it. I had to re-dowel the ends of this on these three, fix this up in here. I had to make a new spindle for this. There was one spindle gone, so this piece is almost completely finished. This side, I don't think I'm going to have to take apart. It seems really sturdy and really strong, so I'm going to start stripping this and then see how this this comes out. I marked everything because when I took it apart, I didn't know was it going to be flopping around, and it seems tight, so I don't even think I'm going to have to mess with that. And this piece, the one we just did, needs some more veneer repair and a little bit of hole repair on the back of it where the screws in from the back. And that's about it. Well, that's it for this repair. I'll find another repair to do that I think would be interesting, and that's all for this rocking chair today. And we're going to keep working on this.